The Detroit Lions just made a move, and it might be bigger than it looks. Because when a team that's already rising decides to quietly reload, you better pay attention. So what does bringing back Maddox really mean for this defense? And could this be a hidden key to the Lions' 2026 season? Before we break it all down, make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share this with every Lions fan you know. Because if you love Detroit football, this is the place to be. Now let's get into it. The Detroit Lions have officially re-signed Maddox. At first glance, it sounds like a depth move. A solid veteran coming back. Nothing flashy. Nothing headline-grabbing. But don't be fooled. Because what happened last season tells a completely different story. Maddox came into Detroit in 2025 on a low-risk, one-year deal. Just $1.4 million. A former fourth-round pick who had already spent 7 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles. A guy known for versatility, but not necessarily expected to be a major contributor. And early on, he wasn't. Through the first 9 weeks of the season, Maddox barely saw the field. Just 43 defensive snaps. He was a backup, a rotational piece, the kind of player most fans don't even notice. But then everything changed. Injuries hit the Lions' secondary hard, and when the pressure was at its highest, Maddox stepped in. And what happened next will surprise you. He didn't just fill in. He delivered. When Brian Branch went down with a torn Achilles in Week 14 against the Cowboys, a devastating moment for the Lions' defense, the team needed someone to stabilize the back end. That someone was Maddox. And according to head coach Dan Campbell, he didn't just survive. He thrived. Campbell praised him publicly, calling him a football guy. A player who plays his tail off. A guy who can plug holes, put out fires, and make plays when it matters most. Think about that for a second. In a defense fighting through injuries in crucial late-season games, Maddox became a difference maker. So now the Lions bring him back. Why? Because this isn't just about depth. This is about insurance. This is about flexibility. And this is about something every great defense needs, reliability. But here's where things get really interesting. The Lions' safety room right now? It's crowded. Brian Branch, still recovering. Might not be ready for Week 1. Kirby Joseph, dealing with a knee injury that could linger. And then suddenly, you've got names stacking up. Maddox, Christian Izien, Chuck Clark, who just signed, Thomas Harper, Dan Jackson, even Lorenz Strickland in the mix. That's not just depth. That's competition. And competition changes everything. Because now the question isn't just who starts. It's who survives, who earns snaps, who becomes essential, and more importantly, who gets left behind. This is where Maddox's versatility becomes a game changer. He's not just a safety. He's not just a nickel corner. He's both. And in today's NFL, that's gold. Defenses are constantly shifting. Offenses are more unpredictable than ever. You need players who can adapt on the fly. Maddox gives the Lions that. He can slide into the slot, drop back into safety, cover, tackle, communicate, and most importantly, he already knows the system. No adjustment period. No learning curve. He's ready now. But let me ask you something. Is this move just about depth? Or is Detroit quietly preparing for something bigger? Because when you look at the uncertainty around Branch and Joseph, when you look at the number of players they're bringing in, it starts to feel like the Lions are building a defensive identity based on versatility and survival. Not just talent, not just stars, but adaptability. And that's dangerous. Because a defense like that doesn't break when injuries hit. It evolves. And if Maddox plays the way he did late last season, he's not just a backup anymore. He's a weapon. And here's the part nobody is talking about yet. What if Maddox earns a bigger role than expected? What if he becomes a key piece in Aaron Glenn's system? What if this quiet re-signing turns into one of the smartest moves of the offseason? Because we've seen this before in the NFL. Players overlooked. Players counted out. Players who step up when everything is on the line. And suddenly, they're indispensable. Could Maddox be that guy for Detroit? Let me know what you think. Do you see him as just depth or a real contributor in 2026? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm reading every single one. And if you're enjoying this breakdown, don't forget to like the video and subscribe because we've got a lot more Lions content coming your way. Because trust me, this story isn't over. The Lions are building something. Something deeper. Something tougher. And something that might surprise a lot of people this season. But the big question remains. Who will rise and who will fall in this loaded secondary? And in our next video, We're diving into the Lions' biggest training camp battles, and one name on this list might shock you. So don't miss it. Subscribe, share this with your crew, and stay locked in. Because Detroit, they're not just adding players. They're building a problem for the entire NFL.